good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to play the video, the audio that you just got while we were on break.
Oh, okay. Let me. Uh-oh. I think I was turning my ring up. I don't want to do that.
Hey, Tanja, lovely lady. I wanted to call you and let you know that you are such an encouragement and an inspiration, and to just keep being you just who you are. I also was trying to get with you to give you your gift and also to get the t-shirt that I had ordered. But whenever you can, just give me a call. I was going to be out, so I thought I could meet you somewhere. But be blessed, girl, and keep on giving your word and being a blessing. Bless you and your baby. Talk to you later.
Yeah. So, I get that all the time from people, messages or messages in Messenger saying, hey, I don't always say, anything on your post, but I follow you and you're such an inspiration to me. You encourage me, you inspire me. So that's another reason that I have to keep going, because I don't know whose life I'm blessing, who I'm touching, because it's been plenty of times I wanted to go through Facebook and just delete, people like, because they don't come in, or we're not interactive, but it'll be one of those people that'll end up being in my messenger saying, oh my God, that live you did today blessed me so much and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh God, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Because you at that point where you trust some folks, you don't trust some folks, but then, I never want to rob anybody of the privilege or the opportunity of me witnessing, being a witness of Christ, or sharing my story and my testimonies and helping somebody else overcome, because we don't know what people are going through. We don't know what people are dealing with. People look good on the outside, but we don't know what they're dealing with on the inside. Mm-hmm. So, I always try to be, respectful and mindful of that, that even though I might not want them in my space, sometimes God may have them there for a reason. Mm-hmm. Some people need to see me heal. They need to see me grow. They need to see these changes. They need to see me mess up. Not long ago, I posted a picture on Facebook. I cried literally all day that day. I was just going through so much. And I wanted people to see that I'm not always strong. So I put the vulnerable me out there because I want people to see the naked truth. And somebody said to me, like, why did you post that picture? Like, I ain't like that. And I was like, it's okay, but it wasn't for you. See, when something is for you, it's for you because you feel it. And that's why I try to tell people, everything might not be for you. It might not be your cup of tea. Everything I see on social media ain't my cup of tea, but I ain't down here dogging it or, talking about it because it just ain't meant for me, but it might be meant for somebody else that's out there, but I wish that sometimes people could just like have a day in my shoes. A lot of people might think that I'm lazy because I don't go clock in on a job and I'm at home all day, every day, but I'm working. Mm-hmm. I'm literally working behind the scenes all day, every day. I push my body sometimes, I've been missing my small group Divine Connection because I've been having some health challenges, and then, I accepted a new position at church, so that keeps me occupied a lot. So, it's like, I have to listen to my body too. I have to listen to my body when it says, Tanja, you just need to rest. Today, don't do anything, Like I took a break off of social media. I didn't know whether it was going to be 7 days, 7 weeks, 7 months. I just knew that whenever God was ready for me to come back, he would let me know. So I don't do things to impress people, or to say, oh, I'm going to take a 30-day break, or I'm taking a 30-day fast, and all. I don't do all that, The first time that I did it without letting anyone know, and I believe that some people thought I deleted them because when I came back, people were no longer my friends on social media. So I'm saying, okay, Holy Spirit, do I leave it this way, or do I fix it? There were certain people that he did tell me to go back to and say, hey, I was on a break. I noticed we ain't friends no more. We cool. We okay. And if they said, oh, I thought you had deleted me, but we cool. Hey, welcome back in. But if they moved on, didn't respond, guess what? I'm okay with that, So I began to say every now and again, I'm going to take those kind of breaks because I need for the people that's holding up space and they really don't want to be involved or be around to move, go. free this up for somebody that want to be here, because I do have people that like me, that like who I am in ministry. They like the different me in ministry. They like the vocalness that I give. So I need those people to be able to, be available to have access to me.
Yeah. I like what the lady said. She said, I wrote it down. She said, be just as you are. Just as you are. And that's beautiful because it's so necessary. I think that for a lot of people, and especially younger, when I'm saying younger, I'm talking maybe millennials. They're tired of religion as it was. And they need to see somebody that's real, somebody that can, that can get on their level and say things the way they say it. And somebody that's relatable, not just real, but relatable. Like I can see myself in that situation, or I am in that situation right now. And so I think that I know that that's a great thing. But for you, I know that one of the main places that you minister is Facebook. And so how have you been able to deal with the whole social media, whatever you want to call it, because I don't even know a name for it, because, social media can be a blessing, but it can also be a curse.
Yeah. Do you know how many times I've tried to get off Facebook? Like literally just just be done with it. And I can't. God said, I need you there. I know it don't feel good. I know it's uncomfortable, but I need you there. I don't like ministering on Facebook. People not gonna believe that because I do it so much. Quick nugget drops, sharing other people's stuff, other ministers' stuff and all this. What? She don't like it. I don't like it because I hear the noise in the background. I hear what people are saying. I feel their energy. Even now, it's kind of like, how they blackball Monique in Hollywood. I think I kind of been blackballed in the churches, in the communities. I'm okay with that. It's not going to stop anything. It's not going to stop me from ministry. I've said it before, like, if I never preach behind a pulpit again, I'm okay with that, because I don't have to have a pulpit. I don't have to have that platform in particular to get God's word out, to do what God wants me to do. I've also seen posts where people have said things like, you got people out here that don't even want the platform, don't even want to be in this position, but yet they get all the likes, they get all the views and this, that, and the other, and then turn around and use my motto from my talk show. Like I said, see, people, they don't realize the shade they throw at you, but when you throw it back, they don't like it. They don't like it. But now I ain't gonna keep on letting you throw shade at me, and I ain't gonna say that because I ain't no punk. By far. Not by far. Not by far.
Yeah. So let's get into your talk show. It came at a time when the world was in shutdown. But also, like, when I think back on 2020 and some of my fondest memories from the pandemic, there were certain YouTube people that I've found, and like one lady, she did Budget Eats. I love Budget Eats, and I was thinking about this recently, and I was like, and another fun memory for me for 2020, because 2020 was a ride for all of us.
Yes, it was.
But another fun memory for me was the talk show that you did, because I saw you step out in a different way, but in a way that it felt like it was meant for you to be in this space anyway. Like this is it, so I just want you to talk a little bit about that, and why was it so pressing that you did it when you did it, and even why you had to step back from it.
Talks with Tanja. Talks with Tanja was a lifelong dream. Like, I majored in telecommunications and English at Alabama A&M University, and my desire was to be a news reporter, to become a news reporter, and to eventually take Oprah's retirement spot. That was the vision. Didn't pan out that way. But I always wanted to do a talk show. Because I'm a communicator. Anyone that knows me knows I'm heavy on communication, even in a text message. I'm gonna make sure that I'm making it plain and clear to you. You know, you might send me one sentence, but you're probably gonna get a paragraph back from me because I don't want to miss anything. I'm detail oriented, so I want to make sure I'm getting it out there. And so for me, this has always been my dream. When Talks with Tanja came about, again, I was in a season in my life where I wasn't sure where I was supposed to be, wasn't sure what I was supposed to be doing. It was so much going on, and my mental head space was just cloudy. But I had an excellent leader at that time. I believe in this leader because I believe that this leader does have purpose. I believe that her gifting is to birth things out of people. She just got that pull, that tenacity, that drive. And so I had been up under the leadership of my spiritual father for, oh my God, over 15 years. But even he couldn't pull out of me what she pulled out of me. So that's why I knew I was where I was supposed to be. It didn't feel good, but I was where I was supposed to be because things were beginning to be birthed in me. The talk show was birthed out of me. The t-shirt brand, Bold, Brave, and Beautiful, was birthed out of me. Even a book was birthed out of me in that process. You know, it's there, but I'm not ready to release it, but it's there because it's just so much more that belongs in that book. But so many things were being birthed out of me. But it was birthed, again, in a place of pain. So I wasn't sure that I was really doing it justice by my tone and my demeanor. And what I mean by that is my body language. Some of my topics were really controversial, and I knew that it would get under some people's skin. I was mad at the church, and I talked a lot about church hurt and what was going on during the pandemic and how people were being exposed, you know, about certain things. But at the same time, God was also letting me know that I was in my rightful place because he had a brother in ministry. Oh God, LP, I love this dude, man. I love him. You know, I'm on the live, in the middle of a live, going in, talking about something. He clicked the button to join my live, and I'm tripping. I'm like, LP trying to join my live? I'm like, bro, you did you do? Yeah. And he gave me a word right there in that live that blessed my socks off. And he pretty much told me, folks ain't gonna like you for doing what you do, but keep doing what you're doing because this is what God needs right now. He need this kind of truth. He need people to be real and transparent and doing what you're doing. And so that struck a fire up under me. And it said to me, you're a trendsetter. You in your own lane. So even though I put it to sleep, there was still vision being happening. Hence the reason that we're doing conversations with Tanja now. Because the environment needed to change. The way that I represent what I'm doing, it had to have some changes made as well. And it's coming from a place of purity versus a place of anger, resentment, also feeling pressured. Because sometimes, you know, we put pressure on people to make them feel like they're not doing enough. You know, we're in a time now where almost everyone desires to be an entrepreneur. It's really big. It's a big thing going. You know, I had a conversation about like kids aren't even working at McDonald's, fast food restaurants and stuff no more because they out here hustling. You know, they trying to make their own dollars. And, you know, while I think that's wonderful, I think it's good, but y'all gonna be mad when McDonald's and Popeyes and Zaxby's is closed down because they don't have nobody to cook this food, and y'all don't want to cook at home, so y'all ain't gonna be able to go to these places and eat because you encouraging everybody to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. You know, don't make people feel bad if they're not doing what's trending.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make them don't make them feel bad, you know, because you know we preach real good in these pulpits and stuff, and we make it sound good, and we get people all riled up and this, that, and the other, but we don't tell the truth about how hard it is to be an entrepreneur. That it ain't easy, you know, that you're not gonna see an investment right quick. You're not gonna see a quick turnaround. You don't know what it feel like to have the people that's your family not support you and buy nothing from you, but yet strangers, you know, they out here doing it big with you. You know, the people that you call friends, that you go out with and hang out with and talk on the phone with, and they be the last ones to purchase your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't talk about that part. They just everything's so prosperous and prosperity, and ain't nothing wrong with that, but God, you know, people got to realize God don't intend for all of us to be as prosperous as some folks, because we don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to do the right things with it. We got to learn how to stop jumping on trains just because somebody doing it. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that it ain't meant for it to be done, but we also got to understand our timing, our season, when it's time for it. The time for this is now. It wasn't back in 2020. Mm-hmm. The time for this is now. My prayer and desire for the talk show is to really just get people engaged in healthy conversations, and most importantly, to get people to understand that it's okay to agree to disagree. We don't have to all be on the same. Like, you know, it's a really big deal now about being vaccinated or not being vaccinated. It's our choice. You know, I really can't get mad at somebody if they don't want to get vaccinated. That's their business. God bless you. Do what you do. I was over there at one point, but I changed my mind. I made a decision to come over here because I had to think about my health, my child health, the people around me. You know, I got a grandmother that's 101 years old. You know, even if I didn't do it for me, maybe I did it for her. I'm just saying, you know, but don't be mad at me because I got vaccinated. And don't be mad at them because they did. Because we have rights. And see, that's the balance I want my talk show to have. I want people to disagree. But we going to find a happy medium somewhere. And even if we don't, guess what? It's okay. Right. But we ain't going to fight about it. I'm going to respect you at the end of the day. You respect me at the end of the day. And that's just kind of the goal of, you know, what I do with my conversations and talks.
Yeah. And so while you were talking, I got this insight download where you talked about you were doing it from a hurt place, but now you're doing it from a healed place. And you oftentimes when we're hurt, we talk
a lot.
As opposed to when we're healed, we have conversations. And so to go from talks
so do you
with
get
Tanja,
I was about to say, so did you, because I know you didn't ask me and I was surprised you didn't. I said, she didn't ask me why I said conversations with Tanja.
Right.
But now is the moment, so you get it.
Yes.
Because I was talking a lot. Now I'm having conversations.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
And I think that's what is oftentimes, because I don't want to sound like I'm bashing religion or the church or anything like that. But I think that's oftentimes what happens in religion is that we have people that are ministering and talking from hurt as opposed to really helping people from a healed space and a healed perspective. And they do that to a fault, meaning that I'm so committed to this platform that I don't want to step back so that I can heal. You know, so they stay in that place.
Why do you think that the suicidal rate has gone up so much with pastors? Because they can't be themselves. They can't be human because they set the expectation. Yeah. See, I'm not setting an expectation for people to think that I don't drink because I do. And I preach. I do. I don't set that expectation. what I've seen and learned with that, you know, because you got those people that say, you know, but I just live a private life. And ain't nothing wrong with that now. But be careful that your life ain't so private that if you get yourself in a position to be exposed, that you don't have to cry for mercy and beg people to accept you as a human. Mm-hmm. Because if you would just gone on and let them know you're human from the beginning, then you probably won't have to deal with that down the road. Because see, one thing ain't nobody gonna ever be able to throw up in my face is, oh yeah, she preached, but I be seeing her at the restaurant and she have a glass of wine sitting there. I sure do. Mm-hmm. I sure do. Mm-hmm. That might be my struggle. What's yours?
Mm-hmm. Because we all have something that we're dealing with.
All have something.
You know? Yeah. And having something that you're dealing with doesn't take away from who you are to God.
See, the church is, and this is no disrespect to the church, the church has messed us up because it has taught us to live a fictitious life. And what I mean by that is, what's wrong with a single pastor? Just saying, he's preaching the same word that he would be preaching if he had a wife, right? Mm-hmm. But because the church say that a preacher need to be married, but then y'all get mad when he have an affair. Y'all get mad and upset because he can't keep his stuff in his pants. Well, why did you force him to get married? Mm-hmm. Maybe he wasn't ready for marriage yet. You know, that's stuff we got to let God deal with people about, because only God can heal us and deliver us from things of that nature. Mm-hmm. You know, why does a young lady have to wear her dress to her ankles at church? I'm short and I don't care for long dresses and stuff. That's just me. But when they go out and get pregnant because you keep telling them what they shouldn't be doing and this, that, and the other, and then you want to sit them in a chair in front of the congregation and have them address the congregation, I thought we were supposed to confess our sins to God. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes the church needs to stay out of folks' business.
That's powerful. That's really powerful.
Sometimes the church needs to stay out of folks' business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and don't get me wrong, and I don't judge nobody that have been in any of those situations, because guess what? They're human. You know, and sometimes we get ourselves caught up in situations we find in the long run it's hard to get out of them, because we done did something because these people said we should be this, doing this and doing that, and now we stuck. Mm-hmm. We miserable. We unhappy. Oh, don't get a divorce. You know, I mean, come on. All marriages are not meant to endure. I'm sorry, you know, because we don't always marry who God has ordained for us to be married with in the first place. See, that's the first thing. We married, but it don't mean we married to the person that God ordained. That's why it don't work. Mm-hmm. That's why it don't work. I can talk about that. I've been married 3 times. I can talk about that. And to a preacher, a pastor. Mm-hmm. I can talk about that. You know, people probably talking about, oh, she done been married. She can't, how she gonna talk to somebody about marriage? And she can't even keep it. I can tell you a lot about marriage. I'm probably one of the best people to talk to about marriage. I can tell you how to make a marriage work too. I can. But I can't make my partner do what they're supposed to do in a marriage to make it work. Mm-hmm. But doesn't mean I don't know what it takes to make it work.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking about this on the way here. I don't know why it was on my mind. I don't know if I was listening to some on the radio or some about dating came up, and I was saying how, I said, it's so funny. I said, because, you know, people talk about you when you date, you know, oh, she was just dating this person, or he was just dating that person. Now they, you know, dating this person. What in the world made her think this was going to work, you know, with this person? They don't even match. They ain't even look. But yet the world would say, well, Tanja, maybe you need to try something different. Maybe you don't need to go for the motorcycle men, the men that's doing this, that, and the other. Maybe you should go for somebody on this side. Give them a try. Give the person that you normally wouldn't date a try. And then you find out this joker just as bad as the person that's on the other side. You understand what I'm saying? But see, we can be so quick to give advice and talk about stuff, but we don't really think and process all the ins and outs, the odds and ends that can come along with those situations. And I've just become that person. I love who God has made me as far as my thought process is concerned, because I know that I think differently. My thinking is wired a little differently about certain things. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying anybody should follow me and go along with it. This is just my way. But I'm wired a little differently. So that's why I'm able to extend grace in some areas and say, well, you know what? It's okay. I get it. I understand why they don't fool with me no more. They don't do this, because I'm a processor. So I'm able to process stuff differently and be okay with it.
That's good. That's good. So you mentioned marriage, and in this segment I did want to talk about your marriages and divorces. Okay, so let's get into it. Just share a little bit about, or whatever you want to share about your marriages. And you've already talked about your second marriage and divorce, but what those meant for you in the entire process, the marriage process, the divorce process. What did that mean for you?
Okay, so for me, the first marriage, like I said, I was very young. Let me start here. I've been married more of my life than I've been single. The freak. The hoe. The person that everybody talk about. I might can't do a lot of things, but I can get a husband. Because I'm a wife. I'm purposed to be a wife. This I do know. I do know that. Purpose, because I know what's in me. I know what God put in me. And all three of those husbands, I do believe, if they were standing right here with me, they would say to the world, she was a damn good wife. That had nothing to do with anything. Because I was that wife that was your everything. Everything. Laid in the street, freaking the bed. I pray over you. I'm going to cook for you. You're going to have your dinner. Your house going to be clean. All that. You can do everything right and still end up being in the wrong hands. Let me say that first before people judge why I'm divorced 3 times. So the first marriage, I was in my early 20s. Again, a young single girl. I knew my first husband from high school. I met him when I was trying out for cheerleader at Park, and he told me, I'm gonna come back for you. You know, I'm like, whatever, dude. You know, because he was real popular. The ladies loved him. You know, and me, I was sassy. You know, I'm like, man, I'm not studying him. You know, I ain't finna be, you know, all over him and you know. So we ended up bumping into each other, you know, at a nightclub, and we never left each other. From that night on, we stayed together. We got married. You know, he was a great provider. He was a excellent husband in the aspects of everything, that the duties that were required of him. But he a man. He liked women. You know, so we had some issues that we dealt with. You know, with infidelity and baby mama drama and then he became abusive, you know, and that for me, that was hard for me, because again, you know, like I said, I've seen my mom and dad have fights, so I was traumatized by stuff like that. But you know, when it happens to you, you think like, whoa, this ain't supposed to be happening to me. This is not supposed to be my life, you know. But then, you know, you get caught up in, you don't want nobody to know what you're going through. And, you know, you want to fight for your marriage. You want to make it work. You want to do the right thing. And, you know, all of that. So we ended up, you know, divorcing after maybe, and it's so crazy because I can't even remember what year we got married. But I think we stayed married maybe roughly around 2 years or so. And, you know, ended up getting divorced. Well, right after I divorced from him, I ended up meeting my son's father, which was probably about 2 years, maybe a year and a half, 2 years later. Same thing with he and I. We met And we never left each other from that day. We was together from that day forward. Now that marriage, that relationship was the longest. We put in some years. We were together well over 10 years. I remember a friend telling me, a guy telling me, and this was after our divorce, but I got to bring this story up to get to where I'm going. I remember him telling me, we were on the elevator. He said to me, Tanja, I want you to do me one favor. And I said, what's that? He said, don't tell the next man what you went through as far as your abuse in your marriage. He said, because men will take that and they'll try to do double to you what you've gone through the first time.
Wow.
And so my marriage to my son's father, I believe that he intentionally did triple to me what I had gone through in my first marriage. And it wasn't fair. It wasn't fun. And I can't make up excuses for these people, because what's in you is in you. He abused the wife before me, he abused me, and then he abused the women that he's been with after me. So, you know, a tiger don't change his stripes. But we had fun together. That was my fun marriage. I mean, you know, because all days weren't bad days. We really had some good days. We had some good times. You know, we were youthful. We were hanging out with other married couples, you know, just living it up, doing what we wanted to do. But there was infidelity there too. And I'm not the person that's quick to tell somebody leave your spouse because they cheated on you. You know, I mean, that's something either y'all gonna work on, or if it ain't working, just let it go. Just move on. You know what I'm saying? Because some people stay for the hell of it. Like, why? You know, just go on about your business. Go do what make you happy. Let them do what make them happy. And so, you know, something terrible happened during my pregnancy with him that, you know, that was another thing that I knew, I can't do this no more, because you don't respect me or this unborn child. So we divorced. We separated first. We didn't initially just divorce. We separated first, and I went through so much in that separation. I depended on alcohol a lot. That was my coping mechanism. I would drink myself to a pulp because that's how I dealt with it. You know, I was a new parent. A new parent doing this all along. Had just came off my job because, you know, they said, hey, we're going to have to put you on disability. You can't go back to work because this is the chances of you surviving, you know, versus not if you go back to a job and this cancer come back in its worst form, you know. So this is it. This is your new life. And, you know, I was learning it. Some friends that I thought was friends wasn't my friends. And, you know, so I was going through a lot. To where I really had a nervous breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown, and I had to put myself in counseling. I said, I can't deal with this baby and life right now. I need help. I need to get to the root of what's, you know, why am I finding myself in these kind of situations? And so I went to therapy. I got a psychiatrist. I had the one to give you the medication. And that was very helpful for me because she helped me understand some things. See, I was walking around. See, that's why we got to be careful when we self-diagnose ourselves, talking about I'm depressed and all that. And I was walking around, you know, saying I'm depressed and I'm in depression. And she said, depression is the last thing that you're dealing with. You have severe anxiety. Like, I could not sleep at night. I could not rest. I couldn't do anything. And then I was so traumatized from being beaten the way that I was beaten, because we ain't talking about little fist fights. We talking about guns put to my head, being beaten while I'm driving down the highway with cars swerving in and out, and being beaten publicly in front of people, in front of my friends, you know, with them seeing what I'm physically going through, and, you know, knowing they talking about me, you know what I'm saying? You know, some of them really had a sense of heart. Others was like, oh, she's stupid, she a fool, you know, this, that, and the other. Like, you know, it was just a lot. it was so much, man. I was like, God, I know I can only be living because you keeping me here, because I wanted to kill myself. I just wanted it to end. Just didn't want to deal with it no more. I was tired of defending myself. I was tired of even trying to do this right here. Just have these conversations to say, just step inside my brain for a moment so you can, you know, Mary J. Blige made a song called My Life. You know, if you look at my life, you'll see what I see. I wanted people to understand that part of me. But, you know, I learned that you got to be careful even when you share those kind of moments, because people ain't always listening with a genuine heart. They listening to have something to talk about, you know. And so, you know, that divorce was really hard on me. So, took a little break, ended up doing something different, you know, like people say, you know, maybe you need to try something different, you know. And I had these street dudes, you know, so, okay, so I'm in the ministry now, so, you know, maybe I need to date differently, date in this realm, you know. And so my third husband, I knew him because we were members of a church together years ago, maybe like when we were in college or something. So I knew of him or whatever, and he had been at me for some time, but, you know, I never did entertain it. But then, you know, that little light bulb clicked on, see, you could be missing out because the package don't look like what you used to it looking like. And I'm that person out, you know, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And so I gave him the benefit of the doubt, gave him the opportunity to date me. And he courted me so beautifully. I mean, he did everything right, you know, because people, you know, was, you know, like, you ain't see no red flags, you know, and he was honest enough to say this. He was like, I specifically did everything right. It was intentional for me to do this without her seeing any flaws, because she had no idea about this side of me, and I didn't. You know, one day the Holy Spirit led me to a clothes hamper in my house and said, stick your hand in that hamper. I stuck my hand in the hamper and I heard a brown bag rattle. And when I pulled that bag out, it was a bottle of Crown Royal in that bag. And I'm going, where this come from? What? You drink like I didn't know this. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, now I find myself a first lady, married to a minister, a pastor, that's a functioning alcoholic. Dysfunctional, but functioning and coping using alcohol. I have a son, a smart son, one that probably almost picked up on it as soon as I did. I ain't letting nothing come between us two. And so it wasn't that I gave up because I tried to get help. We went to counseling. And when you got a person that literally sit at the table and don't have nothing to say to the people that's counseling you, and the counselor look at you and say, I don't normally, you know, I've never recommended a divorce in my years of pastoring, but I'm with you. You might be right. Divorce might be your best option. Because you ain't taking no responsibility. You just saying, yeah, she right. I can't fight by myself. I can't fight alone. And I got my own demons I had to deal with. I got to deal with your demons too. On top of you not wanting to be a provider, not wanting to do what was necessary. Why is it that I went completely downhill with you when I was up here before you, and when I got rid of you, I went right back up? And I can talk about this openly and healthily because he and I have a great relationship. He's talked about our divorce publicly, and he has taken full accountability of what happened in our marriage. So there's no anger, resentment, or anything. We both are able to talk openly about this because he accepted his part in it. You know, if you're going to lay it all out at the table with somebody, lay it all out. Be honest, be real. Because had he said to me, and he knew this, had he said to me that he had a problem with alcohol, we never would have gone anywhere because I didn't like the fact that my son's father drank because we would always fight when he overdo it. So I didn't want to be in that position again. And I think because he knew that, because we talked about that, I think he said, "Ooh, let me tuck this up on the table because I might lose this girl, you know, and I really want it." And I get it. I get it. But that's when I knew I grew up. Because I didn't care what anyone thought about me getting a divorce. I moved in silence, something I normally would never have done. Like, I've so learned to move in silence in my life now, but I moved in silence because, for one, I wasn't trying to demean his character or put him in a position that he would lose his church, because we both had great relationships with those people. So it didn't only hurt us that the divorce happened. It hurt that congregation. So there was just a lot on the line, you know. But it was in that moment that I grew up and I knew that you're making life decisions for you now. It's not about other people. And becoming a parent changes you. I can't have men running in and out my house. I got a son. I got a young man that's looking up to me. You know, I'm not his daddy, but right now I'm his mama and his daddy because I'm his provider. I'm taking care of him. I'm raising him. Mm-hmm. So I can't have him, you know, and I ain't the one finna be having him calling every Tom, Dick, and Harry uncle. I ain't with that. Now, do I have male friends? Yeah, because I have more male friends, and I mean male friends that I'm good with than females. So, you know, but it's no secret to him if a male friend come over and we sit down and talk about something or whatever, you know, he know it ain't nothing going on. Because guess what? Ain't nobody sleeping in mama bed. For one, he take over it. He's always in there, you know. That's another thing. Not to jump off the subject, but learning to deal with my sexual appetite. Little Tanja, if I, you know, could talk to little Tanja or little Tanja, the one that was growing up, you know, oh my God, a conversation about sex will be heavily had, because you have to remember that I was sexually molested at a very young age. I can't remember exactly when it started, but I mean, this could have been going on in my life when I was 5, 6, 7. I'm just saying. So my body as a child was experiencing cravings for sex that it shouldn't have, because a kid's not supposed to have sex, so they're not even supposed to know what it feels like to be horny or to want to be with somebody. So imagine being a kid having that sensation in your body, not knowing that it's not right. And not only that, but because of who my molester was, I related sex to love. So it caused me to be promiscuous at a time that I didn't even really know better. But I can't defend that, you know, and I can't keep trying to defend it. I'm not going to try to defend that. It's my past. It was what it was. Mm-hmm. If you still stuck there and you worry about what I did over 25, 30, 40 years ago, that's your problem. Because I ain't there no more. And to be able to be comfortable and okay with sleeping alone, when Duna ain't there, because he be at my sister's house majority of the summer and stuff, but, you know, to be okay with sleeping alone, being alone, not having to have sex, man, listen, can't nobody tell me nothing. Because it was a time I just had to have it. I did. Sexual addiction is real. But I don't like to use the word victim, but I was a victim of my circumstances. I want to read this post. One of my good friends in the ministry shared this post yesterday. And it blessed my soul. Okay. The post said, being raped or molested at a young age forces you to grow up fast. Some turn gay, have sex issues, bad attitudes, trust issues, love too hard, live in fear, etc. Some grow a shell and others do anything it takes to be loved, because most times we miss that part and don't understand and just want to feel wanted or needed, because you don't know what you did to be hurt the way that you were by most times a person who is supposed to love you, a family member, a family friend, or maybe somebody who just took advantage of you and you blame yourself for things that nobody could control. I'm a survivor of it. I'm a survivor of it. I struggle daily. I get upset. I love hard. I get hurt easily. At times, I'm very emotional. Maybe TMI, but I am not ashamed anymore. I'm a survivor, and I'm adjusting my crown every day. Those words, powerful. I can't tell you, D. Aquilin, how it feels to have sickle cell or the trait or whatever. I can't tell you because I don't know. No one can tell me how I should get over being molested as a child, even in my 46-year-old life. No one has that right. No one has the authority to tell me what position I should be in. Until you walked a mile in someone's shoes, my suggestion would be to keep your mouth off of people, because you don't know what kind of trauma they went through or have dealt with all their life. Not only was I sexually molested by someone that was close to me, but I've been violated more times than one. It was like this nasty disease. You know, I remember a man that used to sell potato chips in our neighborhood. And right now, I'm 46 years old. And he sells watermelons on a truck. And every time I see him, something in me just, And my mama said, she was like, that really messed you up. Yeah. Because he approached me the wrong way. All I wanted was a bag of chips. And you tried to violate me. Not to mention, I think he even went to prison for, messing with somebody. And people had claimed his innocence and all this stuff. And I wanted to say so bad, I could take the stand right now and tell folks, this he a molester. That's what he is. Scarred my life. I can't stand to see him on that corner. Sometimes I want to get out and say, do you know who I am? Do you know what you did to me? Do you know how you made me feel? And there's so many people that go through stuff that can't talk about it, don't know how to talk about it because they're afraid of being judged. They're afraid of people saying, see, and that's the liberty that I have, because I don't care what you think about what I went through or how you judge me about it, because I'm free. Mm-hmm. I am free. But I'm going to stand up for those people that's not free. I'm going to be the voice for them. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to talk about it. And I don't care what you think about it. Mm-hmm. I still love you.
Yeah. That reminds me of how when you're a little girl or just a little a child, because it's boys and girls that's
absolutely
being abused.
Absolutely.
That when you're a child, and like you were saying earlier, how we always tell children stay in a child's place and things like that. So I know for me, I was also sexually molested by a neighbor's teenage son as a little girl. And for a long time, and I'm 50, but for a long time, it affected my ability to speak up for myself in a lot of situations. Mm-hmm. So I want to ask you to talk about how you were able to find your voice and to start saying, this is what happened to me, And even because of the person being a close family member, because I think sometimes people won't say anything because it's a family member, and then you don't want to hurt the family, or you don't want to hurt a person's feelings. So how was that process for you when you finally decided, I'm going to speak out and I'm going to say something about this?
So for years, I felt like this. I felt like that for years. I was tired of my air supply being choked out of me. I was tired of the mental anguish that I was dealing with every day and night. I was tired of it affecting everything in my life. You know, every relationship, friendship, relationship with my family members. I was tired of feeling the bondage. I was tired of hearing stories on the news about Atlanta child murderers and seeing movies on Lifetime where people, you know, were getting abused and raped and all this stuff. Like, I was just tired of it, you know, and I kept saying, you know, God, how am I going to ever be free mentally if I keep this in? It was like, I was literally, you know, they say pressure bursts pipes. I was literally a pipe with so much pressure in it that it had to explode or I was going to tap out. Be it becoming an alcoholic. Ain't never did drugs, but I'm just saying, maybe drugs, could have been a prostitute on the corner, but this right here, ooh, it was just too much for all of this to carry around, to be so young carrying it around, to be so young and having to feel like an adult, making an adult-like decision, to think about how people saw me when they looked at me, or to hear rumors, or, you know, hear people in the street saying, you know, because people so cruel. People are so cruel and mean. Because I didn't tell it in the time frame they felt like I should have told it in. You know, you hear people say so like, well, maybe she liked it. I'm talking about people that's your family, people that you're close to, people that just flat out call you a lie. I remember my grandmother used to always tell her children, she used to be like, when you turn 18, you can't come back to my house. You know, you grown, you an adult. You know, you got to make it on your own. So imagine being a little girl hearing that come from her grandmother to her mother, and being put in a position as to where your mom never worked. She was a housewife. And so you wonder, where we going to live? Are we going to be homeless? Are we going to sleep on the streets? Are we going to have to go to a shelter? You know, how my mama going to survive? You know, how we going to make it? All that stuff played an intricate role, an intricate part in my head. Even then, I was young and trying to save the world, trying to save somebody. Not even worry about my own self. Oh, God, help me. You know, that's another thing. I just got tired of trying to protect everybody else but me. I'm the one that they talking about. They ain't even talking about the person that hurt me. Now, how could you talk about a child like that? So I had pretty much had to fend for myself, my own feelings and emotions. for so long that I think I really just became numb. I think part of it is numbness, to what folks got to say. Because I'm just convinced that people going to have something to talk about, whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, indifferent or whatever. People don't always have something to say about you. So I knew that I had to become a voice. And because I became a voice, so many people that I know that I'm close to have been able to come to me and say, it was me too. I was in that same situation, or, and my mom, I'm going to tell you, she's one of the biggest people that used to ridicule me about talking about it. She's like, you need to just let it go. If you say you forgave, I said, the forgiveness ain't got anything to do with the testimony. This is my testimony. This is what I endured, what I experienced in life. So I apologize if you feel some kind of way about it, but you have your own story to tell or not to tell. But I'm a walking man.
I like to say it this way, that your truth is your truth. And if you tell your truth, it's going to hurt the person, but it's still your truth, and no one can take that away from you.
Yeah. And so, so we were at church. She and I was at a wedding or something, and a young lady came to me. The lady was like in her 40s, and she came to me, and she grabbed my hand and she was like, I just want to thank you, she's like, cause I be following you on social media, on Facebook, and girl, you be going in on your lives. She's like, but I'm so glad you talked about, the molestation, because for years I, held that in and kept it in, and my mama was just in awe. She was like, I think for her that moment, I think she got it as to the why I have to do this. Because it's not necessarily because I want to, because I would like to never not talk about it again and just move on, but that's just not how God set it up for me. So I had to have a made up mind that, I don't care who feelings get hurt, and if they don't want to deal with me no more because I'm talking about my truth, my side of, because guess what? You have the right to tell your side of the story too. No one is stopping you. No one. And so I just learned to walk in my freedom. I learned to it was the process to healing, really, to get over it, because the more I didn't talk about it, the more the pipe and the pressure was taking place. But the moment I opened my mouth and released it, the healing began to take place in several different portions and places. And I began to understand me better. I began to understand who I am, who it made me, why I went through certain things that I went through, why I made bad decisions, in relationships when it came down to men. Now I'm not so quick to, I don't get excited about the first thing a man say to me anymore. It's like, okay, yeah, that's cute. I hear that all the time. What's next? What's next? Mm-hmm. I'm honestly in a position in my life, if I never get married again, I'm okay. I'm happily single. I'm enjoying every moment of this. I don't have to argue before I go to bed at night. I ain't got to worry about if it's dinner hot enough for him. I'm just saying, I've experienced all that already. However, whomever God has for me that will appreciate all of me, the little Tanja, the middle school Tanja, the 46-year-old Tanja, and they can accept all of me, flaws and all, and be my friend, then so be it. But until then, I'm just happy being me.
Yes. And on that note, I think we're done.
Yes.
And this has been such a great time to share and to hear you share your life. And I know that it's going to be a blessing to someone. So with that, is there anything, any nugget or whatever is on your heart that you want to share to round this up? Please feel free.
So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you for having a conversation with Tanja. I pray that this conversation has blessed you in some form or fashion. I pray that you will see the genuineness in me and understand that I'm coming from a place of purity. I put myself out here to be vulnerable. I put myself out here to be judged, to be talked about, to be available to those of you that might need my help to overcome some of these situations that we've covered. It's okay to be broken. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to deal with pain, because God can take all of that and he can mold and chip and shape you into something so beautiful. My life is not where it was many years ago. And I've never been so happy to be in the place that I'm in now, because I know what it feels like to be free, to have the liberty to not be afraid to voice your opinion, to not be afraid to not go with the in crowd or what everyone else is saying or doing. It's okay to be unique. It's okay to be different. Dare to be different. And I'll just leave you with this, you got to figure out a way for yourself to be bold, brave, beautiful, and powerful. No one can rob you of your joy. That's what the Bible tells us. It said that joy comes from the Lord. People can ruin your happiness, because in order to be happy, it means that something has to be happening. But your joy, that's something that no one can take away from you. So I like to get in my place of worship, and I like to just tell God, thank you for never taking your joy away from me. Because there's times in my life when I could have taken my own life. I could be 6 feet under right now. Cancer could have wiped me up out of here. Diabetes could have wiped me up out of here. High blood pressure could have taken me up out of here. The blow of a fist from a man could have taken me up out of here. Being penetrated at a young age could have taken me up out of here. But God kept me, and he's keeping me. And the same God that has kept me and is keeping me is the same God that will keep you. I love you all.